Welcome, manga seekers, to another exciting journey into the mystical realms of Kagurabachi. Today, we're diving deep into chapters 2, 3, and 4, unveiling the secrets of sorcery, enchanted blades, and the enigmatic Hishaku group. Grab your swords and sorcery, hit that like button, and let's embark on an epic adventure together. Chapter 2, Heaps, unfolds a tale of danger and discovery as Chihiro and Shiba confront the ruthless Yakuza and encounter sorcery that transcends imagination. The plot thickens in Chapter 3, Witness, where new allies join the quest, shedding light on the mysterious Hishaku and the stolen enchanted blades. Now, Chapter 4, Sorcery and the Enchanted Blade, takes center stage. Chihiro faces a powerful sorcerer, showcasing his newfound skills with the Enchanted Blade. It's a battle of wills and magic as the fate of innocent lives hangs in the balance. Ready your senses for the magic and mayhem that Kagurabachi has in store for us. Arc Sorcery and the Enchanted Blade, Chapter 2, Heaps. Shiba untied the bound hands of the victim while the man expressed gratitude. Meanwhile, Chihiro was questioning the Yakuza boss about a group named Hishaku. Shiba joined Chihiro and jokingly cautioned the boss to listen to Chihiro's questions. Chihiro continued to inquire about Hishaku, mentioning they had heard various unconfirmed rumors about the group, such as them being small-scale practitioners of witchcraft. As the boss was about to respond, his facial expression suddenly distorted. His eyes moved upwards, while the rest of his face seemed to shift downward. In a matter of seconds, his face exploded, and a large branch on what seems to be a tree sprouted from his head. In the nick of time, Shiba managed to quickly escape with the victim while the victim displayed visible panic due to the unfolding events. Shiba then returned inside to check on Chihiro, who was unharmed, unlike the boss. When the boss attempted to divulge information about Hishaku, his head abruptly exploded, suggesting that the group possessed significant expertise, seemingly silencing him with some form of sorcery. As they discussed returning to Tokyo, Chihiro became visibly exhausted and nearly collapsed, but Shiba promptly provided support, standing by his side. Shiba couldn't help but notice Chihiro's determination to learn combat, despite having no prior experience just 3 years ago. He expressed admiration for Chihiro's progress, acknowledging that he had come a long way, even though he was only halfway to mastering the Enchanted Blade's real potential. 3 years ago, Rokuhara Workshop and their residents were shielded by a protective magic barrier, isolating them from the outside world, having it configured to alert him on any interference. On one occasion, he sensed something amiss and hurried to their location. To his shock, he found Chihiro sitting there, cradling his lifeless father, surrounded by a burning and ruined home. As he approached Chihiro to understand the situation, Chihiro recounted that 3 sorcerers had suddenly appeared. However, the rapid sequence of events and him being badly hit caused him to lose consciousness. When he awoke, all the concealed katanas his father, Kunishige, had crafted were missing, their house lay in ruins, and his father lay lifeless on the ground. During the war, Kunishige had released 6 enchanted blades into the world, but after the war, they were secured in the cellar of his workshop. Now, they were stolen. Despite the loss, Shiba was relieved to find that Chihiro had survived, albeit injured. Kunishige had introduced Chihiro to the enchanted blades he had crafted, each possessing unique abilities, in which his son aspired to create such remarkable blades. However, Kunishige emphasized that Chihiro shouldn't merely aim for crafting powerful enchanted blades. He encouraged Chihiro to see the world from his own perspective and consider what kind of katana the world truly required and why. This thought occupied Kunishige daily, though his earnest advice was met with a light-hearted remark from Chihiro, suggesting that Kunishige should wear a more solemn t-shirt if he intended to convey serious thoughts. Kunishige lay lifeless on the ground, bearing visible injuries, while Chihiro wept and questioned the identities of those responsible, wondering if they understood his father's deep attachment to those katanas. Amidst the destruction and the overwhelming thoughts about his father, Chihiro couldn't help but cry and repeatedly ask why this had happened. Shiba, Meanwhile, expressed his regret for not arriving sooner and contemplated how the attackers had located Rokuhara's residence. Fueled by anger, Chihiro asserted that those responsible needed to understand his father's beliefs and vowed to demonstrate it, stating his intent to confront and defeat them. The katana Chihiro now wields is the one Kunishige dedicated years to crafting after the war and ultimately sacrificed his life to protect. Since that fateful day, there has been no reliable information regarding the Hishaku, the group linked to these enchanted blades. Chihiro presently sat down by the window, gazing out at the tranquil city of Tokyo, pondering the unsettling thought that someone might be using his father's swords for nefarious purposes. He feels an urgency to locate the Hishaku and the enchanted blades promptly. Currently in Tokyo, Shiba entered Chihiro's room with news of a significant development. He conveyed that they had finally received a lead, suggesting a potential sighting of one of the enchanted blades. Chapter 3: Witness. Hinao is currently explaining Japan's system regarding the ownership of katanas, highlighting that it's legal for some individuals to possess them for self-defense, while others misuse them, attracting the attention of Yakuza leaders and other criminal organizations seeking better self-defense options. This is where sorcerers like the Hishaku come into play. Hinao has a poster in her shop that reads Hishaku Information Wanted, which she displayed at Shiba's request on her shop. 3 years ago, Shiba visited her at her shop while she informed him about job opportunities, but Shiba rejected as he came for a different reason. He went on by informing about the tragic incident involving Kunishige Rokuhara. Shiba claimed that the Hishaku were responsible for Kunishige's death and the theft of his enchanted blades. This was also the first day Hinao met Chihiro, who had a visible scar on his face. Despite her willingness to help, nothing significant transpired. However, one day, a disheveled child entered her shop while she was distracted and not paying much attention. Currently, Shiba and Chihiro are at Cafe Haruharu, where Hinao works. They're there because Hinao contacted them related to someone who have come forward to have witnessed something regarding enchanted blades. Hinao mentioned that the witness is a young girl who is currently asleep in the store's back room. During Hinao's conversation with the girl, the child expressed an interest in hiring a sorcerer for protection because someone is pursuing her, even though she lacks the means to pay for it. The child mentioned that the person chasing her possesses a formidable sword, which made Hinao consider that it might be the enchanted blade the child is referring to. Shiba and Chihiro, however, both reacted with skepticism, thinking that the child might be making things up. While they were discussing this, the child began uttering the words hippos and cell division in her sleep but abruptly woke up, likely due to a nightmare. As soon as the child woke up and sat up, she inquired if Shiba and the others were there to protect her. Shiba declined and instead inquired about the person who was pursuing her. The child couldn't provide any information about the reason for being chased and shook her head when asked about her home and parents. While considering taking the child to an orphanage, Chihiro asked if she had eaten already. Although she hesitated initially, she eventually expressed a desire for tempura soba. Shiba is currently outside, having a smoke, and reminiscing about how Chihiro is good at taking care of people, thanks to his experience with his own father. Meanwhile, Chihiro and the child are inside the restaurant, where they are being served tempura soba for the child and cold soba for Chihiro. While they are still waiting for their food, the child introduces herself as Char, which surprises Chihiro a bit, but he proceeds to introduce himself as well. Chihiro mentions that after they finish their soba, he and Shiba plan to take Char to the orphanage. This prompts Char to ask if they won't be protecting her, as she seems to think the soba seals the deal. Chihiro reiterates what Shiba told Char earlier, emphasizing that the cafe is not a place for her to play around. Char insists that she's not playing around, which leads Chihiro to inquire about the individuals pursuing her. Char, however, indicates that she can't share that information, leaving Chihiro skeptical and just eats quietly with her. While they were eating quietly, Chihiro inquired about the strong sword Char had mentioned. Amidst some coughing as she was eating, Char described seeing clouds emanating from it. a detail that caught Chihiro's attention due to its specificity. Chihiro wanted to make sure Char wasn't joking, and Char confirmed that she wasn't. He then asked about a flame symbol on their hands, but Char wasn't certain about it. During this conversation, a customer sitting behind Chihiro was currently being scolded by the restaurant owner for not placing an order and just occupying a seat. The customer, in turn, told the owner to leave them alone. As Chihiro continued to ask Char about the person wielding the sword, Char mentioned that the man had a group of henchmen accompanying him. Meanwhile, in the restaurant, the store owner was suddenly killed using chopsticks, and the person seated behind Chihiro revealed that they had finally located Char, but this time she had a bodyguard with her. As Chihiro began to stand up to inquire about the person's identity, the individual uttered the word invincible. Suddenly, a Daruma doll, also known as a Dharma doll or simply a Daruma, is a traditional Japanese talisman of good luck and perseverance. These dolls are typically made of papier-mâché and are weighted at the bottom so that they return to an upright position when tilted. The most distinctive feature of a Daruma doll is its round shape and the lack of pupils in its eyes. When someone receives a Daruma doll, they make a wish or set a specific goal. They then fill in one of the doll's blank eyes with a black marker or paint, symbolizing the beginning of their journey or the making of their wish. Appeared, and just as Chihiro was about to react, the restaurant exploded, propelling him outside. While sitting, internalizing the situation, Chihiro came to the realization that everything Char had mentioned was true, and it was evident that someone was genuinely pursuing her. What she saw might indeed have been one of the Enchanted Blades. In a fighting stance, Chihiro sincerely apologized to Char for doubting her. However, at this moment, Char found herself held hostage by an unidentified sorcerer who had caused the explosion at the restaurant. Char implored Chihiro to rescue her. Chapter 4: Sorcery in the Enchanted Blade. The chapter begins with a confrontation between Chihiro and a sorcerer. Chihiro is focused on formulating a plan, with his main priority being to rescue Char. However, the sorcerer insists that his only interest is in Char and advises Chihiro not to interfere. Suddenly, Chihiro draws his sword with a swift finger motion, reciting the words Inten and Black, enabling him to cut the rope that bound Char. This surprises the unnamed sorcerer, who had assumed Chihiro used sorcery due to his ability to cut through spirit energy. Chihiro urgently calls for Shiba, who promptly arrives and uses a sorcery technique to teleport Char to safety in his car. Witnessing Shiba's teleportation, Char inquires if he possesses sorcery abilities as well. Shiba informs Char that anyone can harness sorcery, as it is powered by spirit energy, which essentially constitutes one's life force and resides within every human, including Char. Meanwhile, Chihiro continues his ongoing battle with the mysterious sorcerer, using a surprising technique involving a goldfish that astonishes his opponent. Returning to their car, Shiba elaborates on the concept of enchanted blades, explaining that they are the most potent swords available. These blades amplify a person's spirit energy to such an extent that it becomes highly concentrated, eventually taking the form of a goldfish when released. This transformed energy surpasses what a sorcerer can produce individually. While the sorcerer defensively observes Chihiro's fight, he remarks on Chihiro's unique ability to not only create objects from spirit energy outside his body, but also to embody spirit energy itself. The sorcerer informs Chihiro that he has encountered an enchanted sword before, but this is his first encounter with someone wielding such a weapon in combat. While conversing with Chihiro, he becomes aware of Char's presence nearby. In response, he shouts to Char, warning her that if she doesn't emerge obediently, many innocent lives may be at risk, much like her mother's tragic fate. Char becomes frightened upon hearing this, prompting Shiba to comfort her by placing his hand on her head. He reassures her, urging her to trust in Chihiro. However, her anxiety heightens when she witnesses Chihiro being thrown back by an explosion, triggering painful memories of her mother's demise. Chihiro skillfully counters every explosive threat and confronts the sorcerer in a confident manner. He firmly asserts that he won't allow the sorcerer to harm Char, emphasizing that he's committed to protecting her, regardless of her financial situation, as their shared choice for soba, a type of noodles, connects them. Chihiro then attempts to attack the sorcerer from a distance using his enchanted sword ability, but the sorcerer manages to evade it. In response, the sorcerer unleashes explosive dolls to attack Chihiro. In a nimble move, Chihiro leaps into the air to evade the explosive onslaught. However, the sorcerer surprises Chihiro by teleporting behind him and ensnaring him with a rope. Remaining composed, Chihiro aims his enchanted sword at the sorcerer and unleashes a powerful explosion, defeating his adversary. After this victory, Chihiro approaches the sorcerer and queries him about his affiliations, reasons for targeting Char, and the whereabouts of the other Enchanted Blade. And there you have it, manga seekers. Chapters 2, 3, and 4 of Kagurabachi have taken us on a roller coaster of emotions, unveiling secrets, battling sorcery, and leaving us hungry for more. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for future Kagurabachi adventures. Until next time, may your blades stay sharp, and your sorcery even sharper. Happy reading, and stay tuned for the next thrilling installment from Kagurabachi. Glowing Dark.